All right. It is time for another episode of the podcast.
Green light, go. See?
Yeah.
Little reference to Matthew McConaughey because you did Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
You know, reading his book right now.
Hell yeah. But it's going to be a great show for you guys. I mean, we have the one and only Eliza Schroeder coming on the show to talk about her project. She is over the pond, and man, she is one of the nicest people we've ever had the pleasure to interview.
For real. And if you're an indie filmmaker, she drops some serious knowledge about what it takes to make a film independent. So, man, you don't want to miss this one.
No, you really don't. That's a little later on the show. Now, let's get crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, we're on episode 147 this week. Bow, bow. We're there, man. We're right there.
Rocking and rolling so close to 150.
It's insane.
I mean, we just keep hitting milestone after milestone after milestone.
I know. It doesn't even seem that long. It seems like yesterday we just started this thing.
It's serious, but we're in year 4.
Right?
Year 4! Closing in on
Absolutely
150. I mean,
bonkers.
Man.
Wow.
Exactly, bonkers.
Exactly.
Pun intended.
Exactly.
Pun intended.
But you guys know you're a host with the most. Myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
Guys, we have a lot to talk about this week. Of course, we're talking streaming wars. We're talking AMC. They think they're going to stay afloat throughout all of this, but we'll see.
They think.
I mean, they're part of that stock market that's like going crazy right now, up and down. So, have you invested? Yeah, maybe. We're talking about cans, whichever or that you prefer. Of course, the streaming wars, like I said, and just a whole bunch of other stuff, man. We got a packed show for you guys, and you're going to enjoy it. If it's going down in Hollywood, we are talking about it.
Yes.
And before we get this thing started, you guys know we got to promote our merchandise website. Go to www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. If you're watching the YouTube video right now, you can see it on the screen. Man, it is just freaking amazing. Head over there right now. Valentine's Day gifts coming out soon. Our designs coming out soon.
Sure.
Rocking it. We're both rocking it.
Hands down the best merch.
Exactly.
Saying.
Exactly. We got hats. We got masks. We got everything, man. We have everything. Anything and everything for somebody in your family or someone you may know.
That's right.
But first, we got to get started with some sad news. One of them was kind of expected after his diagnosis with COVID, and he was really old. Legendary broadcaster Larry King died at 87 years old. Died from sepsis, which was put into like full throttle because of COVID.
Yep. And I mean that's a tough one because he is literally like he's interviewed everybody under the sun.
Yeah.
I think if you talk to anybody in the news business, and then on the flip side, the entertainment business, and you ask who's the interview guy, the one, it's Larry King.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, that was a tough one, man.
I know. It really freaking was, man. But then Oscar and Emmy-winning actress Cloris Leachman also passed away this past week from natural causes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that one...
94.
Yeah.
I mean, full life. She was so awesome, though.
Yeah.
So many things that she was in from... I remember way back on the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah.
And then Facts of Life. And, of course, Young Frankenstein. And just... Later on in life, she was appearing on so many different shows. She's worked with so many people. She was a legend for sure.
Longest Yard with Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
That show was so funny.
And then, of course, another legend gone. I think 96. 96. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Shoot us a message, but I think 96. Cicely Tyson.
Yeah.
Just an absolute pioneer in the industry for female actors, for black women, for just so many milestones, so many accomplishments, such an unbelievable career. She was literally an icon.
Yeah.
And so, man, that's...
I know.
They say they always go in threes. That's 3 biggies to go out and all in 1 week.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty crazy, man. It's absolutely wild.
It is.
But, thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's involved with them, their team, their family. Thoughts and prayers go out to you. And keep moving forward in this crazy time. Speaking of crazy times, AMC. We teased it a little bit at the top of the show. Last December, we all know AMC, the world's largest cinema chain, came crashing down. But by the early 2021, due to mounting changes posed to the pandemic and everything going on, theaters being shut down, but the company announced that a reverse is happening. Like their stock market is fucking skyrocketing, and they're saying that they might be okay and not have to file bankruptcy for the next several months at least. So,
yeah. You guys have heard about this Reddit thing, right? Like with the hedge fund investors who like scooped up on people that were highly leveraged with short sales and then just bought up and forced the stock prices up into like ridiculous crazy, and these guys were in all kinds of huge trouble. Well, AMC was a part of that along with GameStop and all the others, but AMC apparently benefited from it big time. As of today, over the last 5 days, $1.1 billion raised because of the jack up in stock prices. And get this, you have to pay, like, I don't know if you guys, and I'm not going to go into the long explanation of short sales, but you are obligated to buy that stock back and sell back. But a lot of their creditors apparently have decided to waive most of that debt that was incurred to have to pay back. $600 million of the $1.1 billion is going to be alleviated from their responsibility, which, what?
Yeah.
But, guys, you know what they say. This is just my opinion, but you know what they say. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for AMC, but guys, I mean, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
When you play the short sale game and you benefit, you also crash. And so I don't know. I know,
especially with so many like different types of stock trading apps right now. I mean, you got Cash App, you got Acorn, you got Stash, like all of these things where you can put in however much you want to. But then it was a bundle of different things. AMC, GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, a whole bunch of different stuff. And so, it's really interesting. That one day it tanked like crazy, but now it's kind of back up. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But like I said, several months should prevent them from going through bankruptcy.
But that is crazy when you think $1.1 billion only somewhat guarantees them a few months.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I know.
That's crazy to me. But
yeah, absolutely wild. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if they'll tank again because, honestly, I don't see COVID going away anytime soon. So I think it's going to drop back down, in my opinion. Now heading over to Cannes, whichever order you prefer. 2021, it's going to be moving the event a couple months. It's going from May to July, so not that far. But, of course, due to safety concerns on the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, as announced last autumn, the festival was reserved the rights to change its dates depending on how the global health situation developed. And they said in a statement, initially scheduled from the 11th to the 22nd of May 2021, and now the festival will therefore now take place on Tuesday to Saturday, the 17th of July. So, I mean, it makes sense. I'm surprised they haven't canceled this one again, but, I mean, everybody's like, more people are wearing masks, so I feel like that's a big thing. More people are social distancing, so that's a big thing. So that we can somewhat have faith in humanity to do the right thing. But of course, I don't know. I could also see this getting canceled.
Yeah, me too. I was just gonna say I don't think it's gonna make it in July.
Yeah.
I mean, May to July is not that far of a push off.
No.
And at the rate that, if the vaccines are working, if the masks are, at the rate that that's going, that's not going to be soon enough.
Well, especially with the new strain of the virus.
Yeah, two new strains now. So just it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So there are 3 COVIDs out there. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we'll stay on top of that one. We'll let you know if they do indeed cancel it. Now, heading over to Juggernaut, Disney, the one and only. You guys know we love them.
Yep.
Mulan star Jason Scott Lee has joined the Disney Plus reboot of the Doogie Howser, along with already announced star Peyton Elizabeth Lee, who's going to be playing the main star. So that's pretty exciting. You might know, when I say Mulan star, he was the villain in Mulan. So we're going to get a completely different, change of role for him. So that's going to be very interesting.
He was also, if you're old like me, he was exactly. Bruce Lee, starred in Dragon, the Bruce Lee, story, his biopics, it was a fantastic movie. It's kind of what, launched him.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared. And now he's back.
Yeah.
So that's good. Though.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, he's riding that entertainment roller coaster, but I mean, good for him, man.
Exactly.
I'm excited about the show.
Yeah, I am too. It's going to be interesting to watch, which is surprising because, you're an 80s guy and you were like, reboots, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
But, yeah, I mean, with the new synopsis that's coming out and with all these people that they have attached, I mean, it looks kind of good.
Yeah.
It looks kind of good. It's not like Saved by the Bell reboot, so.
No. I mean... It'll never be Doogie, but, we'll see. I do think I'm excited to at least see it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. ABC Signature announced this week new premiere dates for 3 new series that are coming to the airwaves all around the world. Rebel Wilson hosted dog grooming competition series Pooch Perfect, I think, will be hilarious, which will debut March 30th at 8 p.m. A sibling comedy, Home Economics, executive produced and starring Topher Grace, will launch April 7th at 8:30 p.m. and which will examine the heartwarming yet fraught relations between 3 adult siblings and one in the 1% of the middle class and barely making ends meet, and the Eric Brockovich-inspired drama Rebel and Katie Sagal on it's coming out on April 8th at 10 p.m., which follows a blue-collar legal advocate without a law degree who is fearlessly fighting for causes that she cares about and other people around her care about. So, good stuff. Good
Just
stuff.
like the movie.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about 2 out of the 3 of those.
Yes.
This like dog grooming thing that we know. But these other 2 were announced a long time ago, remember? And then they were kind of like put on hold because of the whole COVID thing, and now I guess...
Yeah, it seems like a lot of networks were doing that. Remember we talked about last week, the CBS, they kind of put a lot of pilots on hold, and now they're bringing stuff back, kind of like the Keenan show. We'll be talking about that one a little bit later as well, so that'll be interesting.
Which cost them a lot of money because they had to extend the contracts to hold these actors so that they wouldn't go on to other projects. So, I mean, just... woo.
Exactly. ABC has also put in development Dugout Moms. It is a single-camera comedy from Damian Wayans Jr. and his Two Shakes Entertainment Picture It Productions. Dugout Mom is inspired by the life actress of Dawn Tavia Bullard, and it centers around a struggling yet resilient single mom who finds support in sisterhood from a group of Little League parents after her and her son move to an exclusive Atlanta suburb.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. This is not the one with Felicity Huffman. No. That's what when I first saw Dugouts, I was like, no, that's not that's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I know. All these names, man, they sound the same.
I mean, they do.
Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, Dugout Moms, Doug, what?
Yeah. I mean, just, okay. All right. This one clearly a comedy. Felicity's not. Remember, that's Peanut Butter Falcon Kid and like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. It sounded familiar.
Yeah. Tony Revolori is in negotiations for a lead role opposite of Ellie Bamber and Kaylee Spaney and Aaron Kellyman in Willow, Disney Plus's Lucasfilm.
Yes.
Everybody knows the upcoming TV series of the follow-up of the 1988 movie. No additional details about the storyline has yet to be released, and no additional details about his character as well. So, everything's all up in the air.
It is all up in the air, but I mean, that's I see that. That's one of those huge, iconic, like, epic type thing. You want to keep everything close to the belt. You don't want to give everything away with that one.
Exactly.
So, duck. Of course, we're talking about the V.
Yes.
The Mighty Ducks. We have a premiere date.
Finally.
The Mighty Ducks Game Changers is going to premiere on March 26th on Disney+. This is the one with Emilio Estevez and Lauren Graham and coming back. And I'm so fucking excited about this one.
Yeah.
I know I trash reboots and remakes and revivals all the time, but I fucking love the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
I thought the whole series was just fantastic. Joshua Jackson and the boys back in the day, and I'm thrilled about this one.
Yeah.
Plus, anything that Lauren Graham is in is good.
Exactly.
Period. I don't care what it is. She could just have a show where she's just reading. I don't know. It would be a hit. Yeah. It's Lauren Graham.
Exactly. Super pumped up, and of course, this is the reason why she isn't more featured in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
That's right.
If y'all don't know and haven't checked out that one yet.
That's right.
Check it out, though. Zoe's is really freaking good.
Yes.
Have you caught up on season 2 yet?
Not all the way caught up, but getting there.
Okay.
Like one episode shy.
There you go. There you go.
And For Life started again. There's so many.
I know.
So many.
This next one I'm super pumped about because I was a huge Scrubs fan and Garden State and all that good stuff. Zach Braff, he's been cast in the upcoming Disney Plus remake of Cheaper by the Dozen. See, this is the Doogie Howser for me. I'm interested to see what this one's going to be like because Gabrielle Union is in the movie, and it's going to center around a multiracial blended family of 12 navigating a hectic home of life and their family business. So I mean,
Zach Braff and Gabrielle Union.
That's going to be hilarious.
That's going to be a hilarious couple.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that's going to be a hilarious couple.
Exactly.
I mean, and Zach, if there's anybody that can kind of pull off what Steve Martin was able to pull off, Zach Braff.
Kind of like a funny dad that's still kind of cool. The kids can talk to. I completely agree.
Who's going to be cast in the Hilary Duff and Tom Welling roles, though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, who the two older kids? Like, you had Superman and Lizzie McGuire. Like, who did...
Who knows, man? Who knows? They say that this is supposed to premiere on Disney Plus sometime in 2022, and this I had no idea. Maybe we did. I don't know. Maybe we talk about a lot of things. Kenya Barris is on behind this thing, co-writing the script and is producing this.
Yeah,
so that's pretty badass.
That is pretty badass.
Oh man! Now heading over to WarnerMedia. This one is very interesting. They said, "Oh, freaking Wonder Woman 1984 was huge, beat everything out on Christmas Day, and for the rest of the month of January, it was great, blah, 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 blah." But a lot of people that are eligible for HBO Max are not signing up for HBO Max.
Half.
Yeah.
Half.
At least half.
That's crazy to me. Yeah, these were mixed numbers. They beat revenue expectations, but it was almost all carried by AT&T's cellular and DirecTV type stuff. WarnerMedia took a bath. Warner Brothers Pictures lost a shit ton of money. HBO Max lost a shit ton of money. So, it was rough. It was rough. Fourth quarter, HBO Max in the fourth quarter, and more than $2 billion for the year on streaming services is what they've invested, but they've lost a ton of money on both of those. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know it's going to be very interesting. Like everybody knows, everybody's been talking about it, their decision to put their theatrical releases also on the streaming service at the same time. I don't know. Yeah, it is very interesting, especially what we've been talking about, how they have been paying these creators like the flat rate and what they were expecting, and I don't know. I don't know how Warner Brothers and WarnerMedia is going to stay afloat with all this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, the numbers speak for themselves. They invested $2 billion, and they had to take a $1.6 billion loss write-off. So that tells you right there it didn't work.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
agreed.
But this next one could be the Mandalorian for Warner Brothers. It could be the WandaVision for Warner Brothers. It could be that one that those other 50% are waiting for to sign up for HBO Max. You know what we're talking about, of course. It's been the main driver behind all of it since they launched HBO Max, the Snyder Cut. The Justice League Snyder Cut. Well, it's been back and forth. Will it be like an extended miniseries? Will it be a long-ass movie? What will it be? Blah. Well, now we know it's a long-ass movie, and now we know when it's going to be a long-ass movie.
Yes.
Yes, the Snyder Cut is going to be released very soon. March 18th. March 18th. And I'm super pumped. I'm down for this. I'll do the 4 hours. I know. We've talked about it. You're not so much down.
No, I'm gonna treat it like a mini series. After the first hour, I'm pausing that bitch and coming back to it. Like that's just too long. I'll fall asleep.
I gotta tell you though, they also released 3 new posters, and if you haven't seen them on the HBO Max accounts or Zack Snyder's accounts, they are badass posters.
Yeah.
One of them is like this crumbled like concrete rock with a film canister slightly opened with a roll of film and Snyder. And with the JL, and it's so bad. Oh my God, it's so badass.
Here, I want to challenge you to something, though, because you said you're down for it. You're down for the 4 hours. You can't click pause at any point in time in the movie. You have to watch it straight through.
I'll do it.
You'll do it? I mean, with The Irishman, I know you and I both. We watched it separately, but we both had to click pause and go do other things. But with this one, you're so pumped about it, you can't do it. You have to sit there for 4 hours.
The geek in me will allow that to happen.
All right.
Good luck. I'm just telling you.
We'll let you know how that goes. Yeah.
will allow that to happen. I sat through Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, there you go.
I love Gone with the Wind. Please don't send the hate.
Yeah, they're
Please
fucking
don't send
coming
the
for
hate.
you right now.
Of course, that one has an intermission.
Yeah.
Not because you wanted to get up, just because they have an intermission.
Yeah.
So I guess that's
good luck. Challenge accepted. As
yes.
Barney Stinson would say.
That's right.
Oh, man.
It will be legend. Wait for it.
Dairy. So good, man. So good. This week was huge for Warner Brothers and WarnerMedia because the trailer for Godzilla was released, was getting a lot of play on social media, but it's on the move again. Shortly after the trailer release, they bumped the film date by 2 months, earlier than expected, from May 21st to March 26th. So, I mean, the studio has postponed its domestic premiere by another week. Now Godzilla vs. Kong will debut on March 31st, simultaneously in movie theaters and on HBO Max. So
I'm excited about this one. The trailer, first of all, badass.
It does look badass.
And I saw that unlike any time these movies have been done in the past, this one is not going to, they say, make the mistake the other ones. There will be a definitive winner.
That's good.
There will be one of them will win and be like the monster of monsters, the king of the,
Who do you think?
I think it's going to be Kong.
You think so?
I think it's Kong.
Oh shit! I don't know, man. I don't know.
So Godzilla can breathe some fire and shit. He's got some
can.
spikes or whatever. Kong is going to whip his ass. I'm just saying. Apparently, it's like a revenge thing. I think something had to do with there was an epic battle of the monsters in the past, and only, these two or something survived. I'm guessing. I'm picking from the story that I saw, and so this is like the epic end-all, be-all revenge battle.
Yeah.
I'm going Kong.
Yeah, well, since I'm all medieval shit and I love dragons and shit like that, I'll go Godzilla. All right, we'll do it.
Fair enough,
see what
but
happens.
he's a lizard.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. They're cousins.
That's fine. It's true.
And they both breathe fire. It's fine. This next one is very interesting, and a lot of people at Warner Brothers are like trying to keep this thing hush hush, but I guess it leaked this past week. Apparently, there's a Harry Potter live action television series in very early development at HBO Max. Sources say that executives at WarnerMedia and HBO Max have engaged in multiple conversations with potential writers exploring various ideas of what would bring the beloved property to television, but no writers or talent have been attached yet. Conversations are still extremely in the early stages, and no deals have been made. Like I said, a lot of people at Warner Brothers don't even want to talk about this to outside sources.
Is Emma going to be in it?
Probably not.
See, if Radcliffe or Emma or any of the gang are not in it, I don't see the point.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just like...
That's like saying, I'm not going to watch an Avengers movie if the original 6 aren't in it.
Some people said that. I wouldn't say that, but some people did say that. Like, if fucking Iron Man's gone, fuck it. I'm not watching it. Like,
and that's sad. You're not a true fan.
Exactly.
And, I mean, you need to watch these bitches anyway.
That's right. Right. Okay, now we're flipping back to the DC universe. See, you brought up Avengers, so we're going to go back to DC. This one's really interesting to me. We have said over and over, and again, I'm a geek, I think the TV side of the DC universe has always been spot on, has always gotten it right, way above the movies. Hopefully the Snyder Cut fixes that. But anyway,
we'll see.
Titans is badass, guys. As you guys know, Titans Season 1, we had Robin, Dick Grayson.
Yes.
Titans Season 2, he became Nightwing, and we had Robin, Jason Todd. Well, he's going to be Red Hood. What are we doing? Do we just move on? Do we not have a Robin? Do we need a Robin? Well, apparently we do need a Robin, and we're getting one, and it's going to be Tim Drake for Season 3. That's right, Tim Drake is coming for Season 3. Jay Lycurgo is going to be cast in the recurring role, and this is interesting, okay, because you guys know, I mean, Tim Drake has a really interesting story from the comic books. He's like the third Robin, obviously, and a streetwise kid who is, brought in and as wants to be a hero. He doesn't want to be what he's known for on the streets and everything. But here's the interesting part about this story. You might recognize the name Jay Lycurgo because Matt Reeves announced that he has a supporting role in the Batman movie. Now, is coincidence or is he playing Tim Drake in the Batman movie. And because remember, I mean, didn't they definitively say it was Dick Grayson who died in the Snyder cut, right?
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
Right, they said, no, it's Dick Grayson's, not Jason Todd. It was Dick Grayson's Robin
Yeah.
that died. So if that's true and they're going to do this Flashpoint, they're going to merge all these things and there's no Dick Grayson, we could skip over Jason Todd and go right to Tim Drake.
Yeah.
So is he or is he not Tim Drake in Matt Reeves' The Batman? And if he is, with him also being on Titans, does it start to merge the universes?
Right.
At the TV, we saw Crisis with Flash and Flash. I'm just saying.
We'll see. But, I mean, that would go back to trying to compete with Marvel, doing the merging everything, in which we've said multiple times they shouldn't do and stay in their own lane. So it'll be interesting, man. It'll be very interesting. Like, everything's all up in the air for that fucking franchise. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be good or bad because, like we said, there's just so many freaking misses when it comes to the DC movie side of things.
It will be fun, though, to see Tim Drake. Because, Jason Todd had the same costume, just a little variation from Dick Grayson's Robin costume. But Tim Drake's is totally different. So, I mean, will we see it totally different with the hood and like all? Because that'll be badass.
Yeah.
I mean, at least to see,
On the Robin ranking, where is he in your Robin ranking? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, to be fair.
He's on my last. He's last.
Well, now Damian, right? Like, I mean, Bruce's son. Like, there's so many of them that have been Robin. But for me, I mean, and don't get me wrong, because as we talked about in an earlier top 5 months ago or whatever, Nightwing is my ultimate favorite DC character, right? So Dick Grayson for me is
number one.
Yeah. I prefer him as Nightwing over Robin, obviously. But like I said, we've talked about this in the past too. The New Teen Titans was the very first comic book I ever bought. I had the entire run of the New Teen Titans, all and he was Robin for a great part of that before he became Nightwing. And so that's my definitive Robin.
Yeah.
So
I feel you.
Dick Grayson.
I feel you. Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, Damian, and then Tim.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim's all the way at the bottom.
Tim.
So, that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. It'll be interesting to see how they use his character, though, in Titans.
Yeah,
so.
What are they doing with it? Why do all the Robins keep appearing, and where's Batman?
Yeah, like, I mean, I understand you've introduced Batman kind of in that role, but I want to see Batman's interaction with more than just Dick Grayson. I want to see his interaction with Jason Todd, because they haven't shared screen time at all together yet.
And, like, why do all the Robins keep leaving him?
Why do they hate him so much? I mean, like, let's see that.
There is definite storyline there to explore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. Well, heading over to the CW, still underneath the WarnerMedia branch, Tyan Richards has been cast in the title role of Nancy Drew's spinoff, Tom Swift, at the CW. Richards will make his first appearance as the character in an upcoming episode of Nancy Drew, and then should be the Tom Swift standalone series get the green light at the network. He will begin to star in that. And the plans is for Swift to crash into one of Nancy Drew's investigation, fuck a whole bunch of shit up, and it's an event which interprets a supernatural event that goes on, and he believes that it's cosmically paranormal. And this standalone series will follow a gay black man, so that's breaking boundaries. That's going over
black
the barrier.
Billionaire.
Yeah,
like so. Basically, they're telling us a story about Tyler Perry.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the absolute best possible way. I love Tyler Perry. He's
fucking great.
Fucking fantastic.
I mean, he's on our we want to meet him when we go to the studio.
Most definitely want to meet him.
So good. But yeah, CW trying a whole bunch of different stuff, right? I mean, rightfully so, after The Trickster just got canceled today. So, I mean, that was one they were promoting a lot on the CW app. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Director Baz Luhrmann has tapped up-and-comer Alton Mason to play legendary musician Little Richard in the Warner Brothers Elvis biopic film.
Yes.
Sources say that even as the film got back into production following the suspension due to COVID-19, Luhrmann wanted to make sure he took his time finding the right American actor to play the iconic rock and roll showman. Previously announced Austin Butler as Elvis Presley, and Tom Hanks is in this thing, and Olivia Dijon as Priscilla. So, I mean, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Hanks as Elvis's manager, old Colonel Parker there. This is the one that he caught COVID on.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Saying. I'm still pissed at Baz Luhrmann for fucking up the Get Down.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah, he was behind that, and he just ran that shit into the ground because he couldn't get the budget under control. And yeah. Thanks, Baz.
Bastard.
Thanks, Baz. I really liked that show.
It was great.
Everybody on it was phenomenal. Just like,
I know.
All right.
So
now he's going to do Elvis.
Now he's going to do Elvis. Hopefully he doesn't run that shit into the ground.
Tom Hanks is there. Tom Hanks won't let that shit happen.
Yeah, or run that shit into the toilet.
Exactly.
No.
Tom Hanks is like, I will take this bitch over if I have to.
Exactly. He can do it.
He can do it. He's Tom Hanks.
Exactly.
He's like, don't fuck with me.
He can do anything he wants.
My blood cures COVID.
Exactly. New Line has picked up The Parenting, a project that puts LGBTQ twist on the horror comedy genre. Ken Subtle, co-writer at Saturday Night Live, will write the script, and Craig Johnson, the helmer that is probably best known from his 2014 comedy The Skeleton Twins, is in negotiations to direct. Plot details are being kept under wraps at the moment, but isn't anything and everything. But it's supposed to be kind of like Meet the Parents at the horror comedy genre. So, interesting. Yeah. As long as you get Bobby.
That's right. You got to get Bobby. You got to do it. I mean, otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly.
Jamie Dornan.
Yes.
50 Shades.
50 Shades.
Yeah. That guy. A Private War. I mean, that too.
Yeah.
Too. Apparently, he's been tapped as the lead of The Tourist. Ooh.
Interesting.
A 6-episode limited series from Fleabag production company Two Brothers Pictures. Well, then it's probably going to be pretty good. The Tourist, which is not related to the 2019 Angela Jolie and Johnny Depp film. All right. Centers on a British man, Dornan, who finds himself in the glowing red heart of the Australian outback, being pursued by a vast tank truck trying to drive him off the road. An epic cat-and-mouse chase unfolds. The man later wakes in the hospital, hurt but somehow alive. Except he has no idea who he is, with merciless figures from his past pursuing him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Maybe that's how he got started in the whole bondage 50 Shades.
Maybe.
I mean,
yeah, you never know.
It all happened in Australia. It's just like that's where it started.
Yeah. I don't know.
It sounds like an interesting. It sounds sort of kind of like Mad Max.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right?
A little bit. Mad Max meets like Walking Dead, waking up in the hospital, and then John Bernthal trying to kill you because he's fucking your wife. Like, all that shit, man. All of that shit is going down in this fucking...
Just add Bernthal and it's fucking hit.
Exactly.
It's a hit. It doesn't matter what the plot is. Add Bernthal, it's a hit.
That's it.
That's all you got to do.
That's it. Elon Mastata is developing a series adaptation of his novel, All Our Wrongs Today, at the Peacock with Seth MacFarlane to executive produce. Everybody knows that's where he is underneath now at NBC Universal. The project is described as a mind-bending time travel love story that explores alternate versions of ourselves and dramatically surprising and often unexpected ways. Oh. Interesting. And of course, this is underneath the Fuzzy Door Productions, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, man. Apparently, the writer who this is coming from is a writer for This Is Us right now. So it's kind of bouncing around and is kind of completely different from This Is Us. I like it. I like it, though.
The title just, I thought that was like the description of the Peacock.
Right.
All Our Wrong Todays.
Oh.
I'm just saying. The Peacock, I can't get past the name.
I know.
Just go to NBC Plus.
Yeah. It's so easy.
Just do it.
It's fine.
Peacock.
I know. Anyway, guys. Right now, an animated version of Game of Thrones is in development. They're talking about it for HBO Max. The streamer is kicking around potential ideas. This is exactly what I was talking about last week. Hopefully they will not beat this thing into the ground.
Like Walking Dead.
Like Walking Dead. The original one was so freaking good, and now they're just gonna bow. Like, it's sad. I mean, of course, I'm gonna watch it to see what it's like, but still, I mean, it's scary to think about. There's so many different ideas when it comes to medieval times and shit like that, but still, you don't want that to happen to a great franchise.
You don't. That's why I'm still skeptical about the Lord of the Rings thing on Amazon. I'm just really worried.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. A Quiet Place 2 again. Like, what the hell, man? It's a part of the growing list of 2021 films that have already been delayed because of the pandemic. It's been postponed 3 times so far. They say now it will open on September 17th. We'll see. It was, I mean,
that's what they say.
Every time we like go to the mall, like the cardboard thing is still out from when it was supposed to debut.
It's crazy.
Last March.
Yeah, almost a year.
It's
so sad.
I'm really excited. They're already working on A Quiet Place 3.
I know.
Like that, I mean, I'm just...
How many times do you think, like, Emily Blunt and, like, John Krasinski have watched this in the fucking pandemic?
Yeah, you're right. Like, no doubt. It's like, we know what happens.
Yeah. Bastards. Everybody knows last couple weeks ago we were talking about Good Sam. It's going to be a new CBS family medical drama. It's going to star our girl Sky P. Marshall. Had her on the show. She's amazing. But now Michael Stahl David is set to lead opposite of her, Sophia Bush, and Jason Isaacs. So, I mean, they're just putting a nice cast together.
That is a really good cast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That is a really good cast. I'm a big fan.
This is what I'm going to watch after Grace.
There you go.
Yeah.
Whatever. The
Not The Resident.
Man. The Resident.
I know.
The Resident. Or Good Doctor.
Oh, yeah. I mean we're watching Good Doctor.
Good Doctor's fantastic.
It's really
phenomenal, man. It's like, just, come on. Paige Sarah, come on the show.
Do it.
Come on. Do it. We want to talk to you.
Oh, man.
What's Douglas Smith?
Smith.
Apparently is going to be joining the Silence of the Lambs sequel, Clarice.
Yes. Oh,
I can't tell. Yeah, you got to do
weird.
it. You have to do it every time. It's like you have to.
Yeah.
As we've told you before, this is set in 1993, 1 year after the events of The Silence of the Lambs. It tells the personal story of Agent Clarice. I look Clarice. Wasn't she great? Jodie Foster. She was great. She was
good.
Great. Yeah. So as she returns to pursue more murders, so he's joining is set for a recurring role. It doesn't say what the recurring role will be, but there he is. He's going to be in it.
He's there.
Congratulations. My guess is he's going to be an FBI guy.
Probably.
I mean, maybe.
It's going to be very interesting. I mean, just how they adapt that whole thing into a series. Kind of like they did with Ratchet. They did pretty well with Ratchet on Netflix. So, I mean,
They did, but Ratchet was a prequel. Can you do, like, Silence
like
of the...
a sequel series?
Without Hannibal? I don't know. Of course, they did Hannibal without Clarice.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see. The upcoming Showtime series, The First Lady, we've been talking about it. I mean, they've been adding some amazing cast members to this thing. They have cast Christian Forsyth and Jamie Lawson to the cast. The pair will join previously announced stars Viola Davis, Michelle Pfeiffer, and I mean, just so many others. I mean, this is a huge anticipated show that I cannot wait to watch.
I know. It's going to be really exciting. And we don't always hear the history behind the First Ladies.
We don't.
And, I mean, I think it's important because, you need, I mean, a First Lady is very important.
It is.
I'm just going to say that.
Yes.
Just like, you see what happens when they're non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Okay. Trevor Noah is staying in his Viacom family. Everybody knows he has like his late show, his Tonight Show. But his next creative endeavor is going to be an untitled feature film with Paramount Animation. And the untitled project is based on an original idea from Noah. Plot details are under wraps, but he said it's to be timely and comedic. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Jonathan Goff from Blackish and John Pollock from Modern Family family are set to write the script. Noah will produce via his Day Zero Productions.
Awesome.
I love that all these people have production companies too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just always thinking about the future, what to do next for, building up themselves.
Because you
which
can't
is
stay
really
in
good.
front of the camera forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like Larry King.
Yeah.
Who did. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
On the latest delay release schedules is Paramount's animated feature Rumble. It has been moved to February 18th of 2022. Had most recently been delayed to May 14th, and then it was from original date was January 29th of 2021. So that's crazy. That is absolutely wild. Everybody knows the film is set in a world where monsters and humans collide, and the monsters are super athletes that compete in a sport called monster wrestling. A young girl named Winnie seeks to follow in the footsteps of her father and become a wrestling manager, but her coaching subject, Steve, has a long way to go. This sounds interesting.
it does sound very interesting.
It's like Space Jam meets wrestling.
So yeah. I'm surprised the WWE wasn't behind this,
Right?
Because they got their little production company too. I don't know. Okay, this next one we called it. We said this was going to happen, and we were right. And now it's official. With all the shit that Armie Hammer has been going through with all those apparently bad, tweets and getting himself in massive trouble with some bad shit, he won't be joining The Offer, the Paramount Plus series that's about the making of The Godfather. We told you that. There were rumors that he had stepped away from that also kind of silently. Well, now confirmed and true, and yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's just stepping away from all of his projects, isn't he? There has to be some shit that he did that he just won't admit. That's what I think.
Yeah, he says it's because he doesn't want to put his family through all the bullshit, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying he didn't deny it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Well, you talked about WWE.
Yeah.
They just signed a big deal with NBC Universal. Now all of their content basically is going to be on the Peacock, which will bring exclusive U.S. rights to the WWE Network to NBC's Universal's streaming service starting on March 18th. And the terms for the multi-year deal were not disclosed, but a person familiar with the arrangement pegged to be around like $1 billion. So, yeah, I mean, Granted, over the last couple of years, probably like 3 years, wrestling has skyrocketed.
It has.
I mean, there's multiple networks, there's multiple different kinds. I mean, even wrestlers are now doing more things besides just wrestling. Cody Rhodes on The Big Show, he's like a reality TV show guy now, and going to be on Heels. John Cena, obviously everywhere. The Rock, obviously everywhere. So I mean, yeah.
I just think $1 billion is risky for the streamer that's struggling the most.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the WWE isn't fantastic and like you said, there's been a huge, but when you're struggling the way that the Peacock is, $1 billion seems a little risky.
Yeah.
I'm
Agreed.
just gonna call it.
It's gonna be interesting. But like I said, all 17,000 hours of their lineup of the original content is going to be on the Peacock starting March 18th.
McMahon is a shifty, shady, and really smart businessman.
I really feel like he's pretty shady. Yeah.
You watch out, Peacock. WWE might take over that shit.
Seriously.
I mean, this guy is like...
Yeah.
You got to watch them deals, man. You got to watch them deals.
Exactly. This next one's pretty interesting and an interesting name, too. I don't know if I agree with the name. Demi Lovato is going to star in a comedy project that's in the works at NBC, and it's going to be titled Hungry, and it follows a group of friends who belong to a food issues group to help each other as they look for love, success, and the one thing in the refrigerator that will make it all better. This comes after, Demi's been very open about her eating disorders that she's had in the past and still has. But Hungry, I don't know. I feel like, that's kind of poor taste.
Hopefully that's just a working title.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, because that is bad. That's hungry for what?
Yeah.
We get the food eating disorder, but is it hungry for success, hungry to move past the problems, hungry to find. I don't know. If she had just stuck with Fez,
I know.
That's all I'm saying. I love you, Demi, but if you had just stuck with Fez,
I know. Modern Family has not found one, but two streaming services that it's going to go to for its 11-season library.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be on Hulu, which it's backed by Disney, of course, and it's also going to be on the Peacock. They're going to share the streaming rights for the 250 episodes. Financial terms of the deal were not immediately available, but the multi-year deal marks the first time the entire library of a 5-time Emmy-winning series is going to be on 2 different subscriptions, which is crazy because, I mean, this thing was a huge show. So, I mean, on 2 different platforms, it's very interesting. It's the first time I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I bet it does better on Hulu than Peacock.
Yeah.
And simply because it was an ABC-based show,
Yeah.
You know, probably people that watched it in its first runs are already familiar with it and or watched it on Hulu.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm just thinking that's going to be the bigger winner out of this. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But you're right. I can't think of a single time where it's like been on competing streamers before.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Exactly. Bum bum.
Yes, this one's exciting. Dylan McDermott. I'm a huge fan of Dylan McDermott. All the stuff that he's ever done in the past, he's always been brilliant. He's always been fantastic. Apparently, he's joining Law and Order Organized Crime. You know, the one where Stabler's coming back. Yeah, the man Stabler. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that McDermott's going to be the bad gangster.
You think so?
I think so. There's only really 2 choices. Is he going to head up the organized crime division that Stabler's going to work for? But I think Stabler heads that up.
Yeah.
So, you know, then the only other obvious choice is he's going to be the gangster guy that Stabler's after.
Yeah.
The one that they can never get.
Could see that.
They can never pin the stuff on. They can never prove the
Yeah.
You know, maybe. I hope.
Yeah.
I'm totally making
We'll
this
see.
up. We don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't say who he'd be, but I'm just totally throwing that out.
Exactly,
Like, all right.
exactly. That's what we do. We create.
That's right. That's right.
NBC has also renewed the Blacklist for the 9th season in the 2021-2022 season. And now the pickup comes after just 3 episodes of season 8 have aired, which is fucking awesome. Owing largely to production delays, the start of the season brought because of COVID, obviously. The drama is the 3rd longest scripted series on NBC behind SVU, Chicago Fire, so that's pretty badass. And of course, the series remains a steady performer on Friday nights, so, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and for anybody hollering, Chicago PD, yes, same also, 8th season, but it came out a couple months after Chicago Fire. Therefore, Chicago Fire gets it, and Chicago PD does not. So, I was a huge fan of this show. I was relentlessly addicted for the first 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, I fell off. I don't know why. It wasn't that I stopped liking it, or I thought it was phenomenal. James Spader is just fucking badass, and Megan Boone is just phenomenal. And so I don't know why I dropped off, but I got to catch back up.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I just didn't think that they could run this storyline for 9
seasons.
Yeah. I mean, so
Kudos
to them.
Yeah,
and Spader, man, Ultron. He's the puppet.
That's so funny.
I see no strings now. I love Spader, man.
Yeah.
I love Spader.
So funny. Kenan Thompson, we were talking about him a little bit earlier. Everybody knows it was previously announced that he is getting his own show, and it's going to follow a widowed dad that is juggling a high-profile job as the host of an Atlanta morning show and also raising 2 girls at the same time. And, it's going to be absolutely wild. But the crazy thing is he going to leave SNL? No. SNL shoots in New York, and this shoots in California. This man is going to literally be traveling back and forth every single week. Yeah.
My man, did you see Strahan?
Right. I mean,
Strahan
you saw
does
that.
Strahan does that coast to coast, and he got COVID, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with that shit. Be careful, buddy. Be careful. I'm just woo.
I know.
Good for him though, because Strahan, he's the only other one I know that is consistently during football season, back and forth. So
I know. Absolutely wild. I mean, I can only imagine what that does for your family life. It's schedule that shit out.
Or your fucking mind. I mean, you're going from 3 hours to 3 hours behind.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on.
What the fuck day is it and what time is it? I
Right?
don't know.
Oh man. Heading over to Sony, Taylor John Smith and Harris Dickinson are set to join Daisy Edgar Jones in 3,000 Pictures and Hello Sunshine's film adaptation of the publishing phenomena Where is Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yeah. We talked about this a few months ago when Reese got the rights to it and kind of signed on to it. I'm super excited about this one. I mean, obviously, it takes place mid-20th century South. Duh, crawdads. Nobody up north even knows what the fuck a crawdad is.
No.
Or crawfish, or mudbug, or, all the same thing, just different names for them.
Exactly.
By the way, because we've been in the South. And anyway, a young woman who is abandoned by her family and has to raise herself all alone in the marshes outside of her small town. However, when her former boyfriend is found dead, Kaya is thrust into the spotlight, instantly branded by the local townspeople and law enforcement as the prime suspect. Because that's always the case. If you're the ex-husband, the ex-lover, the ex-girlfriend, the ex-wife, kind of whatever, you're the prime suspect.
Yeah, even if you are with them at the time, they're still looking at you, which is crazy. But this is going to be super badass. I mean, Reese has taken on some new stuff underneath her Hello Sunshine's banner. So, Little Fires Everywhere. That one's super freaking dark.
Yeah, man. So. She's rocking and rolling. She's like Uber producer now.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Agreed. Sony and Screen Gems Escape Room 2 will now open on January 7th of 2022. It's going to be the sequel to the 155 million plus horror film that was recently taking off the theatrical release calendar, sadly. Previously, Sony had the movie set for December 30th of 2020, but prior to that, it was August 14th. So there's a lot of things happening, but they're super pumped about this one because it's a micro-budget feature, and it's hot. It's huge for the studio, they think. Yeah. So, they're thinking it's going to be a huge asset for them.
Deborah Ann Wall, man. She was in the first one. Huge fans. Come on the show, Deborah.
Yes.
Fucking Daredevil and True Blood and, all the stuff she's done. She's phenomenal.
Yes.
It was a huge hit and didn't cost a lot of money to make, and studios love those.
Exactly.
When it banks a lot of money and it didn't cost a lot of money to make, that's a winner.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'd be excited too.
MGM, Misha King, is making the jump from feature films to, she's going to the Tomb Raider, the next film. She is from the Lovecraft country, and she was the showrunner, as she will write and direct the project for MGM, so that's pretty badass. She just came from Lovecraft that she produced alongside of J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele, so that's super exciting for her, and MGM's just trying to stay afloat, man. They really
are. While they find a suitor to buy them.
Yeah.
Because they are for sale.
Exactly.
Just stop saying you're for sale.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. They are trying to stay afloat until they can get that buyer, though. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. Kevin Hart has been cast in the new Lionsgate film, Borderlands. It's going to be the game adaptation, or the film adaptation of the game. He joined Cate Blanchett in the cast, the movie adaptation of the most popular video game around right now. And he's going to play Roland, a skilled ex-soldier turned mercenary in the Lionsgate film. Though plot details are being kept under wraps right now, I'm super excited about it.
So the action star school worked.
Yeah, basically.
He's going to play an ex-mercenary. I'm guessing John Travolta trained him and he's going to kick ass.
Exactly.
If you don't know what we're talking about, find the Quibi series on Roku.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Exactly.
Hey, were you wondering we were what happened to Ruby Rose after Batwoman? Out of there, remember that? Okay, well now we know. Ruby's okay. Ruby's all right. Ruby Rose has joined Paris Bariak in One Up, the underdog comedy set in the world of esports that Kyle Newman is directing for Lionsgate and BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Oh. The move occurs as Elliot Page, who was previously tapped to star with Baranek in the project, steps away from the picture, now in production in Toronto. A female gamer named Vivian Lee quits her college esports team rather than put up with the sexism from her male counterparts. But with her scholarship on the line, she is forced to assemble a varsity-caliber all-women's team that can compete with the boys. Well, that would explain why Elliot Page stepped away.
Makes sense.
That makes total.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're just going to leave that there.
Yeah. Skydance Media and Robert Rodriguez are trying to reboot the freaking Spy Kids franchise, which is a super interesting thing to do. That came out of nowhere. But we'll see, man. We'll see how successful that is. I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants that. But yeah, it's super interesting. Multiracial families. So, that's relevant right now, but still.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Come on.
Yeah.
Is George Lopez coming back? That's
right.
all I want to know.
Exactly.
So
Netflix going over to the streaming juggernaut not, Jodie Turner-Smith has been tapped to star as the lead in Netflix's 6-part live-action limited series, The Witcher: Bad Blood Origin. This is going to be a prequel to the streamer's hit series, The Witcher, which stars Henry Cavill. So it's pretty cool. It's set in the same realm, and it's going to be 1,200 years before the Witcher storyline.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right.
Scott Michael Foster has joined the Netflix serial killer thriller You, and he's going to play Ryan, a local television reporter who is a well-liked single dad who has to overcome a history of addiction. Ryan has secrets, though, including a controlling, calculating demeanor that he reserves for those closest to him and that he doesn't want anyone to get away.
Oh my goodness. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, right?
I'm down for this next one. I mean, I know a lot of people hate her, but I've always been a big fan of Alyssa Milano since Who's the Boss. She was my first crush, Alyssa Milano. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there. But anyway, Alyssa Milano has taken. She's joining a Netflix feature film from Nora Roberts, a romance thriller, Brazen Virtue. Netflix is behind the project that will see Milano play Grace, a prominent mystery writer and crime expert who hurries back to her family home in D.C. after her estranged sister summons her for help. Wow, Nora Roberts has taken a lot of heat for casting Alyssa Milano in this film. You guys know she's been very outspoken politically, very outspoken with the Me Too movement, very just in your face, and a lot of people are upset with her right now. So Nora Roberts was getting a bunch of shit, okay? Nora Roberts basically told all them people, fuck off. Watch the film or don't, I don't care. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And kudos to Netflix, because you have to know when you hire Alyssa Milano at this point, it's going to cause controversy, right? So Netflix is we don't care. We're bringing it on. Bring it on. So good for Netflix.
Heading over to Amazon, they have announced that Robert Kirkman's new hour-long animated series, Invincible, will premiere the first 3 episodes on March 26th. Wow. And they're going to be premiering, or the next episodes will drop on Fridays, including April 30th, debuting a new episode. The series revolves around a young 17-year-old Mark Grayson, who is just like every other guy at his age, except that his father, the most powerful superhero on the planet, who is played by J.K. Simmons, is just super judgy, apparently. Yeah. And as Mark develops powers of his own, he discovers that his father's legacy may not be as heroic as it seems.
Yes.
Sandra Oh is also attached to this thing. Seth Rogen, Gillian Jacobs, Mark Hamill, Walton Goggins, so many fucking cool people,
and
man.
Glenn himself is playing Grayson.
Yeah.
Glenn from Walking Dead, Stephen Yeun. I mean, him and J.K. Simmons together, that's going to be fucking epic.
Yeah, completely agree, man. Completely agree. Apple's doing some things. I mean, Dickinson's Haley Steinfeld and Ronald D. Moore space drama For All Mankind. The company has offered a limited commentary around the performance of the service, which, I guess is going to cost around $5 per month during its first year of availability. But offers of a year are free on Apple TV. So, just subscribe to the service. It's $4.
There you go. And the love fest between Apple and Disney with the Marvel stars continues, because apparently Brie Larson is set to star in and executive produce a new drama series for Apple, Lessons in Chemistry, which has landed a straight-to-series order at Apple, and apparently in a very competitive situation. When aren't they? Susanna Grant, who was previously nominated for an Academy Award for writing Erin Brockovich, well, we can't get away from Erin Brockovich, can we? Will write and executive produce the series. Jason Bateman and Michael Costigan will also executive produce. Wow.
Yeah.
Brie Larson, Jason Bateman, that is some serious clout right there, guys. It's going to be a hit.
It is. Well, now, guys, it is time for the guest segment. We're so super excited. Eliza Schroeder coming on the show to talk about her project. She's epic, man. So many pieces of advice for the up-and-comers, man.
Definitely. Like I said, she talks about the struggles of indie filmmaking, but then also the payoff when it all comes together and pulls through, what her inspiration was to get into filmmaking and storytelling and all that. This is a great interview.
It is. Well, here she is.
Eliza Schroeder, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you today?
I'm very good, and you?
Oh, we're doing good.
Living the dream.
Thanks for joining us from across the pond. I mean, we always love when we get a guest from across the pond. It's always fun to talk to y'all.
Oh, pleasure. And likewise, I have to say, I'd love to be across the pond with you right now, but I guess lockdown is the same anywhere, everywhere, wherever you are, right?
Yes,
anywhere and everywhere. It seems like the same thing.
Whew, talk about a crazy time to do things, right?
Totally. It's really, the world is upside down. Let's hope for the best for the future.
Absolutely.
Great.
That's all we can do. Well, and you actually released a film during all this kind of stuff, which is amazing, and we're definitely going to be talking about that. Love Sarah. Super pumped to talk to you about that. But what we like to do is kind of do an introduction for the fans and the listeners who might not be familiar with you and who you work and stuff. So talk about how you got started in the industry. Was it like filmmaking is something you always knew you wanted to do? Like, this is it. This is what I'm going to be. Did you kind of fall into it? How did it get started?
Oh, you know what? When I was a little child, I was already always sort of writing little short stories and drawing flip books. And then I went on to study literature in Berlin, which was absolutely fantastic. But I was also working as a photographer sort of on the side. And then at some point I realized that I have to combine these two, the wish to tell stories with the wish to express things in images. And that led me to come to London, do a master's at Goldsmith, which was absolutely fantastic. And from then, I just joined forces with a friend, and we just sat in our living room smoking lots of cigarettes and producing and directing our first couple of short films. And that's how I got started.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, you like it just right out of the gate. So you knew right away film, right? Because you said photography. Okay, so how did the love for photography start? I mean, was that just something that like you kind of fell into along with the writing, or was that always something that you were interested in also, visually telling stories?
Yes, I guess I wanted to always tell stories in both ways. And then directing was the perfect way to combine the visual, storytelling with the written word. And I have always been fascinated with people and, observing people and their expressions on their faces and, telling stories. I mean, lots of people's faces actually tell stories. So I was always very intrigued by people, really.
Oh, that's awesome, man. We share that in common ourselves because we're also a film and television production company. But myself, I started out in photography as well, so I can completely relate to you on that. What kind of photography is your favorite? Are you more of a portrait person, or do you like landscapes? What's your favorite?
I like both, but I think I love landscapes, but I guess I'm better at portrait just because I think the best pictures always come about when people actually don't know that you take a picture of them. So
yes.
I'm really an observer, and I do that with my children now as well. It doesn't always work because often they say, "Hey, mommy, what are you doing?" But yeah. I'm trying to capture the moment where they don't look and where they don't feel watched, which is, I think, the best moment to capture someone's real self.
Oh, that's awesome. One of my favorite techniques is taking a picture of someone who does not notice it, and you're also not looking through the lens. You're not looking through the viewfinder. I captured this amazing picture of a man who was actually holding a camera on the streets of New York City, and I didn't even look through the lens. I just glanced up, shot it real quick, and when I went to go edit it, it was honestly one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever taken. So, I mean, that's awesome to hear, though. Your love for photography transitioned into your love for filmmaking.
I can picture that moment on the streets of New York City. I've done that often myself. I mean, I'm sure I haven't captured that amazing moment that you have captured, but it's fascinating. I mean, when you walk the streets of New York, really what you see is all these amazing characters, and you just wonder about their stories and who they are and where they're from and where they're going to. And I guess, New York's streets have lots of stories to tell.
Oh yeah, as a filmmaker too, I feel like people watching is crucial. I mean, as a storyteller, I can spend the entire afternoon just sitting and watching people and making stories about what you think that's going on in their conversations, or somebody, the way they look as they're walking down the street, like what must have happened to them that day to where they're in this place with this look. And I mean, it's just an amazing thing to be able to bring that to life.
100%. I totally agree.
Yeah, we're gonna have to exchange photos because I want to see what your type of style is, and I want to definitely show you this one because, like I said, it's honestly one of my favorite. Something we've been talking about a lot on the podcast recently is the mental health aspect of filmmaking. This is an industry built on rejection, and you hear 100 no's and maybe one yes. So how does the mental health affect your filmmaking game? Does it just motivate you when you get that no, or I mean, do you take a little time and let that sink in and then think of new ways to create, or how does that go?
That's such an interesting question. I think, you hear so many no's along the way. I mean, it's crazy. And I guess if you're really, I hope my piece of advice would really be to, if you're really passionate about it, don't let people put you down just because they say no. I mean, it's such a, I guess, making a film, but also, your personal idea or whatever you bring to people is such a personal thing that it might be for one person, but it might not be for the next. So and in terms of, has it influenced my mental health? I have been feeling down about the whole lockdown for, I guess the first 1.5, 2 lockdowns that we've had. And then I felt really sort of creatively quite empty. And I've spoken to lots of people around me who have felt the same, that it's just, suddenly this emptiness is coming about and you don't quite know. I mean, you do know why, but then you don't, because you're thinking, but I have time and I can be creative. I can wander into my own little world. And yet I'm feeling so sort of, so empty. And I guess it's really because we are reduced in our interaction with people that make us thrive. But I have to admit that recently I've had a really creative stretch, and I'm fully back into 3 projects that I'm working on, and I don't know where it suddenly came from. I guess I've just given myself a little kick in the butt and said, you just got to get on with things. So yeah. But I can feel that, like everyone else, I think, we've got ups and downs during this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Us too, because, I mean, a lot of characters that we tend to write are loosely based on people we've ever come in contact with, like in life or like just friends. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you have to switch gears a little bit and think of new ways to come up with these possibilities of ideas. So yeah, I mean, it's all about just changing what lane you're driving in. I mean, but we're figuring it out, right? We're figuring it out and trying to stay positive.
Totally.
And I love that. I love that because I feel like during the lockdown, there's really only 2 directions you can go. You can get down on yourself. You can get down about the situation. Or like you said, you can give yourself a good little kick in the butt and say, this is a really good time to stretch my creativity and do something worthwhile in it. So let me attack it. And I think that's brilliant that you said that. All right, let's talk about the big film, Love, Sarah.
Yes.
2017 is like when you kind of start the idea, right? And clearly, when you're starting the idea, you have no idea what's coming down the future with COVID for when this bad boy is released. So that we're going to talk about that and how that all kind of changed the plans for everything. But where did the idea for the film come from? Is this an original story that you kind of developed, or talk about that a little bit in the process of where the story comes from? Because it's a very interesting story.
I guess I was always very driven to come up with a story about 3 different, very headstrong women who would sort of who would clash and who would have even had a falling out in the past, but now they suddenly have to come back together because they've lost a dear one and they have to sort of rekindle their relationships. The idea is original. It's inspired by lots of women who I have come across, whether it's family members or close friends or people I admire or people I look up to. It's a whole sort of mix of characteristics that we've been trying to throw into the pot here. And I got together with the producer and the amazing writer Rashida and Jake, and they just allowed me, really allowed me in. Jake allowed me in, and he took my original idea and he transformed it into something quite magical, I think, which I wouldn't have been able to do without him.
It's all about team, right? Yes, surrounding yourself with the right people, getting people on board that think the way you think, and but aren't yes people. I think that's also crucial to point out. You need somebody to be able to tell you no if it's not working. So it's all about getting that team together.
He has been telling me no a couple of times. and I was like, Eliza, no, enough is enough. So you could put me back into my corner. But that's like you say, you need that. And making a film or anything creative really, unless you're out alone with your camera, any sort of filmmaking process really is about teamwork. Definitely.
Absolutely. And now you had done a series of shorts, a lot of short films. Is this the first feature-length film that you attacked?
Yes, it's the first feature film, and I have been sort of developing. It's the idea was in my mind for a long time, and I've been putting it aside, saying, okay, I need to get some more experience with my short films, and that was really the way to go for me, at least. I mean, I had this hilarious conversation with my dad where he always said, well, why don't you do an internship, or why don't you become an assistant director and just look over people's shoulders and learn. And I kept on telling him, look, I want to do it myself. I need to learn from my own mistakes, and I need to, I was really sort of driven, and I really wanted with these short films to make my own experiences. And that was really, looking back, I have to say, it was probably the best school I could have had.
Oh, I love that outlook because, like you said, I mean, you can fall down and get right back up, and it's all dependent on you, and you put the whole weight on your shoulders. So I love that though because, like you said, it's all trial and error, and once you figure out the best possible product, you're so happy and so thrilled with how it turned out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, comedy dramas about strong women. First of all, anything featuring strong women right now or independent women, kudos,
Huge,
because I
yes.
mean that's
So
huge
good.
right now, and it's about time actually. Yeah, I think long in the making, and we're finally seeing the dues coming, and to have a film that features independent women, strong women, made by a creative strong woman, even better. So congratulations to you on that. All right, so let's tell everybody what it's called. Love, Sarah, and it's about a young woman who wishes to, fulfill her mother's dream of opening a bakery. So it's very comedy, drama, romantic, I guess, film. Definitely a date film for sure. So let's talk about the process. Were you always going to go into it indie? Did you know? I mean, talk about the financing and how that all came about. And were you just solely going independent this whole way, or were you looking at other options? Or talk about the filmmaking process of it.
So the filmmaking process was really, for me, I guess the blessing was to meet the producer Rashida Shah, who sort of saw something in the story and said, "Look, it's a little dark. We need to lift it up a bit." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Well, it made me cry, but we need to work on it." And then she brought Jake on board, who was is a fantastic writer, and back then was mainly doing writing plays. And we met, and in the beginning I said to her, "Look, I mean, we are so different. How do you want us to work together?" I loved him, but I couldn't see how we could collaborate. And then this amazing collaboration came out of that. And we always knew we wanted to make an independent film because it was my first film. And so financing getting your first film financed is always, challenging and not an easy task to do. And then I remember how I said to her, "I want to shoot in Notting Hill." And she said, "In Notting Hill? Are you crazy? I mean, how do you want to afford shooting on the streets of Notting Hill? And like, we have a small budget. What are you talking about?" I said, "Look, I need to, this is a Notting Hill story." And then she drove me around London, and I've been living in London for 15 years, so I know London inside out. And she said, "No, but let's take a little drive around London, and why don't you just consider this area, this area, this area?" And I said, "Look, I love all these areas, but this is a Notting Hill film. We have to shoot in Notting Hill." And so she made that happen on a small budget. And I guess making an independent film with a limited budget has really taught me a lot, because it's given me the opportunity to be very creative with my team within financial restrictions, and sometimes that's a good thing, And I would never say no to a bigger film, but I quite liked the restrictions we had, because it's really like, it gives you limitations that make you very creative.
Yes, I always liken when it is an independent project like that, and the funds are limited, and you have to. That's where I think the movie magic, if you will, is real, because it's amazing what you can pull off with no money if you try and you have the right people with you. You can really do some wonderfully crazy, amazing stuff that people just don't realize to make it happen, and it's so awesome to kind of hear you talk about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love that. Okay, did you? And also, I just want to say this too, because you sound like that. You sound like in the conversation that you've got this checked also, and this is extremely important for all of the people, because we have a lot of listeners out there trying to break into the industry. Ego is not part of the game. If you have an ego, or if you have a problem working with somebody that's going to come in and tell you either no, or this isn't working and maybe we should change this or change that, and you can't do that, you're in trouble from the get-go. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. You really have to have a team spirit. You have to be open. You have to be a very good listener. You have to listen to your creative team. You have to listen to your actors. You have to listen to everyone along the way. And it's a real team effort. And I guess I knew that before. I knew that from the shorts, and I knew that from my sort of, experience over the years. But yet when you're on a feature, you really realize you really are thankful for everyone's craft. And at the same time, of course, whilst listening and whilst sort of letting other people in and making it a joint experience, you still have to steer the boat. You still have to be the one who's leading the ship. And I guess that is, there had been hilarious moments on set where, the actors came to me, and I had 4 or 5 lead actors, and they were, some of them are big, and I was this young sort of woman coming along wanting to direct a film. So I guess it was about finding the right balance and listening to them and taking things on board, whilst never ever losing your path and that the thing you want to do. Because and that's, I find that so interesting. I'm just reading a book about directing and sort of trying to increase my learning on this. And what I find so fascinating is that what we forget as directors or as filmmakers is that we're the ones who have been chewing on the material for the longest time. So we need to know what we're doing.
That's right.
I love that too, because reading a book on directing, you can never stop learning in this industry. Like, things change every single day, and once you think you know it all, that's when you get left behind. So I love that you have that drive and that determination to keep moving forward and keep learning, because like I said, it changes every single day. It's insane, especially now with the lockdown and the procedurals, the COVID-19 protocol, like having to do things on set every day. So it's all about learning. It's all about learning.
It is, and I guess with each personality who comes on set, and which each set and every actor or every creative person, you have new challenges. You don't always agree. You don't always see eye to eye. You do have creative exchanges that make you think, that make you question things. So it's really, I guess you can never learn enough in this business. Absolutely, and you will continuously make mistakes. That's for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's talk about, because it is an industry that's ever evolving and ever changing. So let's talk about what's going on right now with the push towards the streamers and maybe the cinematic death, if you will, because it sure looks like the big five, and we're really curious to know how it's going over on that side also. Are pumping significant amount of money into the streamers and that as the major platform now, and less so on theatrical releases. What are your thoughts as a director on that? Is that something that you're okay with, or do you hope to see that kind of shift back where you would want your films in theaters more so than video on demand or on a streamer? Talk about that a little bit.
To be honest with you, I myself, I have to admit, whilst I absolutely love the cinema, I love the cinema. I love the big screen. I wanted Love Sarah to be on the big screen, and when we released in New Zealand and Australia in this little time window where things seem to be going sort of a little bit more normal than usual, we had an amazing success there. We were number 1 at the box office, which was so lovely for us, because we never really got to actually have a proper cinematic sort of celebration over here, because the pandemic was always in the way.
Right.
So, and of course, we've shot the film for the big screen. Me and my DOP, we've been sitting days and days and nights and sitting with all the shots that we wanted to create for the amazing big screen. But I have to say, at the same time, I myself, of course, I'm watching Amazon Prime, I'm watching iTunes, I'm watching Netflix, and I can see all these amazing series that are shot as if they were made for the big screen, with a budget as if they were made for the big screen. And so I'm indulging in this. I'll bite on the smaller screen, but I can still see the value, and I can still really indulge in the story. And I'm just really hoping that the big screen is not going to die out. I hope that people will find their way back to the cinema, because I think a cinematic experience is always going to be something very, very special. But at the same time, I don't think these two should compete. Hopefully not.
Agreed. Right now, I just think it's a Band-Aid, like HBO Max making the decision to do the same-day releases on HBO Max and theatrical release. I think it's just a Band-Aid for COVID right now, so they can just do this temporarily, and hopefully when all this passes, we can go back to the theaters and enjoy time with our family and loved ones, than just making a whole experience about it. But yeah, as an indie filmmaker and as a smaller creator, I feel like a lot of streamers are looking for that content, so they need to fill up their rosters with movies like Love, Sarah, and movies like, speaking about Clerks, Kevin Smith's Clerks, like little indie projects like that. So I think it's also a great time for projects like those and streamers.
Yeah, because inevitably, right, as a creator, the goal is to get it seen. So in whatever format you can reach the most people for people to see your story, that's always a good thing.
Absolutely, and I think with Love, Sarah, after we've gotten over the slight disappointment that we couldn't see it on as many big screens as we wanted to, we were also really, really happy to bring comfort to people's homes and get them sit together and enjoy the film in a time where everything's a bit rough. And so I guess that was a good thing, and I agree with you. It's a Band-Aid at the moment, and and we still get this amazing content, and we can consume it as and when, and that's also great.
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations on the #1 at the box office during a COVID pandemic, because that's impressive no matter where you release it. So well done on that. And I think that's a statement towards your film and how good the film is, that it can pull off numbers like that. We should say over $1 million in 2 weeks, despite opening against it. So, I mean, that's fantastic. Congratulations on that. And for all of everybody listening right now, you can watch it because it has been released in the U.S. It debuted on the 15th of this month on video on demand. So we're going to make sure to direct everybody to watch that for sure. So, man, this has been really good. And she's been kind of doing this the whole interview. But, but what we like to do when we wrap up is, like, because we do have a lot of listeners that are trying to break into the industry or have just begun in the industry. So we always like to have our guests pass on, what advice would you give to those people, and what pitfalls would you say to try to avoid when you're trying to navigate the whole industry?
I think, definitely I guess I'm repeating myself slightly, but I think learning by doing for me was the way forward.
Yes.
So if you can do that, if you can find like-minded people who are as excited about filmmaking as you are, and this is really about convincing people who you believe are good enough and good and strong and willing to put the extra hours in, to get them on board and to do something you really believe in together. Because for me, that was, the first couple of short films, and none of it was ever perfect, but we did embark on a journey together, and we made this experience, and we learned from it, and we created a little something creative that we wanted to do. So that's fantastic. And I guess pitfalls, I don't really know. I guess you have to. The one big thing that I would have probably learned along the years is to never, ever underestimate the prep time that you need, no matter the budget or no matter how much time you have, that you make sure you really are prepared, your stuff, you have got the answers, you have done your homework, really. That is probably something that I would never, ever underestimate anymore.
Agree. And no matter how much prep time, always have a contingency, because something will inevitably always go wrong.
Oh, that for sure.
That's so funny. Well, we've been talking about how the entertainment industry has been changing. And, with that, social media is a big push right now as well. Are you on social media? Can all of our fans follow you?
Yes, I am. I'm rubbish at doing it, but I am. I love Instagram. So I post a little something here and there. And yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. And what's your handle so we can make sure for specifics?
Eliza Schroeder.
Fantastic. Easy enough, right? Easy enough.
At the moment, it's Eliza Schroeder Director, but my lovely PR team from the US is changing it to Eliza Schroeder. There you go.
That's what it's all about, having that good team behind you. And also, I'm going to send you that portrait picture just so you can see what I'm talking about on the streets of New York, because I think that'd be really cool.
I'd love to see that.
Fantastic.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on and spending time with us today, because you're exactly the type guest that we love to have on. You're very like-minded as to what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and just creative and inspirational, I think, for people trying to get into the industry. You've got a strong head on your shoulders, and you're doing it right, and those are the people that we just cannot talk to enough. So congratulations on all your success. I have a feeling that you're going to have much more down the line, and kudos to you for everything that you've accomplished so far. And open invite anytime you want to come back and talk about another thing that you're working on, or just come on and shoot the shit, talk about photography or whatever you want. This has been really enjoyable, so open invite.
Oh, that I'm going to take you up on that, and the next excuse for me to come over, I will come over in person finally.
Yes.
World.
We would love that. We would love that.
Hey, maybe we'll all hang out on the streets of New York and take pictures. It'll be fantastic.
That'd be great.
Exactly. Let's do that.
Sounds good. Well, listen. Take care now, and we'll be in touch soon, and stay safe. And thanks again so much for coming on.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me. Speak soon.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Man, oh man, that was great.
Yeah. She was a lot of fun, right?
She was a lot of fun. Very motivational. I love the fact that, trial and error. That's really what it's all about. Learn from yourself.
And I like her philosophy of hands-on. That's the kind of approach I took too. Like, you can, do the schooling, you can do all the kind of stuff, but to get your hands out there and who cares? Like she said, so they weren't perfect films, so they made mistakes or whatever. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
So yeah, I love it.
Agreed,
really
man. Agreed. Thank you again, Miss Eliza, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment, man. And this one is very interesting, especially, having the girlfriends in the past and in the present. Of course we're going to have, 5 of these freaking movies. Top 5 chick flicks.
Yes.
Yeah, of course we're going to have them. You gotta find your favorite. What movie do you want to watch, hon? Oh, these 5 right here.
Yeah, yeah. No, I did. These all bring back good memories for me. So this is gonna be a fun one.
There you go. My number 5 goes to You've Got Mail. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, all fucking amazing.
Yes. I mean, it's a fantastic movie from start to finish. Every time those two get together, it's a brilliant fucking film.
I agree.
I mean, no doubt about it. My number 5, Beaches. Bette Midler, Barbara Hershey, a young Mayim Bialik playing a young Bette Midler.
Yeah.
I mean, just the ultimate best friends as kids, grow up, go their separate ways, but then kind of come back together after a tragedy. It's a fantastic film. If you guys have not seen Beaches, do it. Do it! It's the one that spawned Wing Beneath My Wings. That song. That's right. Yeah.
Had no idea.
Yep.
That's fun.
Because Barbara Hershey's character was always the wing beneath the wings of Bette Midler's character.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Little
trivia right there. Little trivia. My number 4 goes to Notting Hill. I just recently watched this one for the first time. Absolutely fucking amazing movie, honestly. I mean, Hugh Grant and, of course, the one and only, the Queen herself. Julia Roberts.
And the Red Door.
But, I mean, this is just a good story about even an average guy could get the best of the best girl.
Absolutely.
Or even a reverse side of that. Even the average girl could get the best of the best guy.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, we're all just a boy standing in front of a girl doing things.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And it's great segue because, you know, after Eliza talked about shooting in Notting Hill and she refused to shoot anywhere else, there it is. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Exactly.
All right. My number 4. All right. Matthew McConaughey. I fucking love Matthew McConaughey. And you know, you love her. You do. Goldie Hawn's daughter there. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes.
I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, absolutely. Kate Hudson, of course. That's what I'm talking about. It's brilliant. I mean, he's trying to win a bet that he can land her in 10 days. She's trying to win a bet that she can get him to just absolutely walk away in 10 days. They both find out about each other. Oh, my God. And then like a Hallmark movie, it's perfect at the end and they get back together.
Of course.
The back and forth between the two of them and then the realization. The bullshit card game is my favorite part of the whole thing. Like, bullshit. Matthew McConaughey going, bullshit. It's just brilliant. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's brilliant.
It's such a good movie, man. Such a good movie. My number 3 goes to While You Were Sleeping. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
yes. Peter Gallagher.
Yes.
I mean, Peter Boyle, of course, the man, myth, and legend himself. Bill Pullman. There's so many good freaking people attached to this thing. And, of course, I mean, Sandra Bullock is just, like, one of the best actors around.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, of course they would have to put this on. I believe it's on Disney Plus if y'all want to watch it right now.
Yeah, it is. It is a phenomenal movie. I totally agree. Like start to finish. My number 3 is one that it's lesser known, I think. I don't think a lot of people have actually seen this, but as you guys know, and you're going to hear it again, I'm a huge Lily Collins fan, so that's how I found this one. But it's a brilliant film called Stuck in Love. It's Greg Kinnear, Jennifer Connelly, Lily Collins, Nat Wolff, Kristen Bell, Logan Lerman, like all these. It's a fucking. It's basically about this like world famous author who's Greg Kinnear, who's like divorced from his wife, and he's sleeping with Kristen Bell, far younger than him or whatever, but still loves his wife. And then his 2 teenage kids kind of going through the ups and downs of coming into their adulthood and figuring out sex and all these kind of things. And the son is like obsessed with Stephen King, and he's like writing these like stories, horror stories and everything, but he's scared to have them published or scared to have anybody look at him because his dad is so famous as an author. Yeah. And so Lily Collins' character, the sister, sends his story to Stephen King.
Oh, shit.
And Stephen King calls him to tell him he loved it or whatever. And it's actually Stephen King playing Stephen King.
That's
cool. Yeah, it's badass. If you guys haven't checked this one out, like I said, it's really lesser known. Not a lot of people have heard of it, but do it because it's a phenomenal film. So
yeah, completely agree. My number 2, this one, I mean, y'all should just know. Once I say the title, you should just know why. Maid of Honor, Patrick Dempsey. Of course. I mean, even Valentine's Day where he's an asshole, even though I don't think they should have portrayed him as an asshole because he's a really good guy. But anyway, Maid of Honor, We're talking about Maid of Honor. Michelle Monaghan and Kevin McKidd from Grey's Anatomy. But it's a really good movie because, I mean, it represents, like, you know, maybe you don't know what you have until it might be gone, or maybe you don't realize what's been standing in front of you the whole time. So it's good. It's
Patrick
good stuff.
Dempsey.
And Patrick Dempsey. You know, there's a guy at my day job who comes in and, like, his thing says Patrick Dempsey, and I'm like, he doesn't live up to the other Patrick Dempsey. I'm just saying. He does. Every time his name pops up, I'm like, you fucking liar. No, you're not.
Look at your hair, bitch.
at
You're
your
no
hair.
Patrick Dempsey. Like
He had a buzz cut. I was like, get out.
No,
Get
Patrick
out.
Dempsey would never do
Never.
a buzz cut. I'm just saying.
Ugh.
Okay. These went back and forth. My number 2 and my number 1 went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But you guys know I'm old as dirt. I'm an 80s, early 90s guy. But so these had to be at the top of my list. If they weren't, I would have just been an embarrassment to the 80s. And I'm not. So I'm just going to throw these out there. Again, early 90s. Like early 90s.
Yeah,
also.
sure.
Early
right.
90s also.
Sure.
My number 2, Richard Gere, Julia Roberts, Hector Elizondo, Pretty Woman.
So
Real,
good.
I mean, is there like? I mean, come on! It's the ultimate romance, Cinder fucking Rella.
Literally.
Like literally, Cinder fucking Rella. It's the ultimate, like, Cinderella story about the down and out, meets Prince Charming, goes on to, like, I really do wish they just do that second one where he's like, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. But there it is, number 2. Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman.
Oh,
Pretty
my
Woman.
goodness, that's so funny. My number 1, Gracie Lou Freebush herself, Miss Congeniality. If all of you Friends fans out there are, like, thinking about when Chandler basically quotes Miss Congeniality so many times, that's me. I can name it through a wall. What's she watching? Miss Congeniality. If you know it through a wall, you know it too well. Yeah, that's me. But, I mean, Sandra Bullock is just amazing. She is basically, when I think about Sandra Bullock, I think about my mom, because with You've Got Mail, well, I mean, of course Sandra Bullock's not in there, but While You Were Sleeping and Miss Congeniality, I watched those movies so much with my mom growing up, so I mean, of course they're going to be in my top 5, but yes, Miss Congeniality is absolutely hilarious, such a great cast. Yeah, I mean, Gracie Lou Freebush, so good.
You want to know where I first saw Sandra Bullock?
Where?
The very first thing I ever saw Sandra Bullock in was a Bionic, the $6 Million Man Bionic Woman TV movie.
Oh.
It's the one where they got married finally after all the years and everything. And Sandra Bullock was the new Bionic Woman, the one that was going to be taken over, and she was going to launch into her own series or whatever as the Bionic Woman. And yeah, so that's the very, very fetus Sandra Bullock as the new Bionic Woman. Lindsay Wagner handing the torch over, and then it didn't go anywhere, obviously.
No.
But yeah, that's the very first place I ever saw Sandra
That's
Bullock.
hilarious.
So there you go. My number 1. I can't tell you how many times or how many females I hoisted into the air above my head in the swimming pool to reenact the scene in the fucking lake. But I did, and my arms are still sore from all of them that I've hoisted up into the air. I'm talking, of course, about Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing. If you are anywhere from that era and you don't say that's your ultimate chick flick, you're a liar. Because that film was watched 89,472,000 gazillion times by every girl ever in the existence of ever that I know from the 80s. They wore out videotapes. Like, they watched it so many times, they literally wore it off the videotape.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that's how bad. It was just insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. But it was an epic movie.
It was.
I mean, it was. They just say nobody puts Baby in a corner.
No,
God damn it,
never.
nobody. Oh, I should have put my Dirty Dancing ones out.
You
I
should've.
had the Justice League because we talked about Zack Snyder, but I've got Johnny and Baby. I got Johnny and Baby.
Epic fail.
Damn it, Billy. Apparently they do put Baby in the corner. She's in the corner of the closet up on the shelf. It's fine.
It's
Damn
fine.
it.
It's fine.
Damn it.
Oh man, let us know your top 5 chick flicks. We want to know. Be sure to comment on the YouTube channel. Be sure to tweet us. Be sure to comment on the Instagram post. Anything like that. We want to know Because it's fun, guys. We really like interacting with the fans, and y'all are amazing. So,
Absolutely.
Of course.
Maybe one of the top 5 should be top 5 Funko failures.
Right? Exactly.
This would be one.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Oh, man. Now heading over to box office recap. Movies are still going on in select theaters, maybe near you. Number 1 was The Marksman with $2 million. Number 2 was The Croods with $1.8 million. Number 3 was Wonder Woman, 1984, with $1.6 million. Number 4 was News of the World with $810,000, and number 5 was Monster Hunter with $810,000. New movies that are coming out, possibly in a theater near you. Who knows? Wrong Turn, The Little Things, Supernova, Falling, and The Reckoning.
There you go.
Sounds very interesting.
It does.
Movies you can still go see, possibly. Promising Young Woman, Our Friend, The War with Grandpa with Bobby, and Pinocchio.
Even The Marksman, even Liam Neeson's particular set of skills cannot get rid of Bobby.
It's true.
He's still there. You can still see him. Just know. He took out Wonder Woman, but he can't take out Bobby. No.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now heading over to the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. You guys know we love this freaking app. It's what we use every single week to stack the industry news segment. Of course, we use it for casting announcements as well, tracking our favorite actors, our publicists that we want to work with to get actors on the show, and just so many other things. This app is so useful, especially if you're an up-and-comer trying to break into the entertainment industry. It is very, very necessary, especially if you want to bathe and stay clean, because it also gets you squeaky clean. I'm just saying.
Fuck Irish Spring.
Fuck Irish
IMDb Pro.
Exactly.
That's what you need right there.
It smells so good.
Just lather up
man.
man.
So good.
Just if you got our haircut, you just lather the head up. Like, you don't need shampoo. Just fucking IMDb Pro.
Exactly.
Cleans it right up. It's like,
my goodness. The top trending movie this week is Outside the Wire.
Oh.
I don't know this one.
I don't know this one either. We could consult IMDb Pro right now and find out what it is.
We could.
But why?
But why?
You do that. We want you to do that.
Exactly. That's what it's about. Top trending TV show by no surprise, WandaVision.
Yeah.
Fucking epic, guys.
Holy, and of
fucking
course,
epic.
the star, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Wanda herself. I'm just going to say, today's episode, holy fuck balls.
Holy fuck balls.
I mean, Paul Bettany, Vision himself, said this one would blow your mind, and it did. My mind. They're hinting at so much stuff. They are setting up so much stuff. They are just like.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anymore because you haven't watched.
I haven't. You know what's crazy? Him and I believe Chris Hemsworth as Thor are the only two actors that are going to be in 1 through 4 phases.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, him as Jarvis and like the first phase, and then introducing his Vision, and yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, our favorite FBI agent is back in this one from Ant-Man.
Yes.
And Kat Dennings' character from Thor, the physicist girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both playing integral parts in this one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's badass.
it's so juicy.
Oh man,
It's so juicy. Go watch it, but after you listen to this.
After you listen to it. I mean, we're almost over. You got time. The freaking star this week, by no surprise, is Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Epic.
it's
epic.
Wanda.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
You need to get out.
Yeah.
You need to leave.
Deuces.
Don't fuck with Wanda.
Don't do it.
Don't do
She's
it.
a badass.
Oh. She's a badass.
Oh, man. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for getting crazy with us on episode 147 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. We got to thank our guest one more time, Eliza Schroeder, for coming on the show, talking about her latest project and giving all those pieces of advice throughout the whole interview, because she was just a gem to have on. Like I said, one of the nicest people we've had the pleasure to interview. Be sure to follow her on social media. She uses Instagram the most. Eliza Schroeder, I believe.
That's right.
Eliza Schroeder.
That is correct.
Be sure to follow the company and the podcast on social media. The company is at Crazy Ant Media, and the podcast is at ItCaf Podcast. You guys know what it is.
That's right.
And be sure to follow us both personally, because we got opinions on things and we like the interaction. Myself at JLo Fantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right, bye. And of course, subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher. We're everywhere, guys. You know this by now.
It's true.
And if you're new, you know this now. And of course, we have a YouTube channel. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and boom! boom, ring that bell.
It's getting close,
Getting
guys.
close,
it's
guys.
getting close.
Negotiations are in the work. We're sliding a little piece of paper across the desk, sliding it back over, sliding it.
That's right. We're working on it.
Stay
but
tuned.
I swear to God, Anita is going to ring that bell.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
Should we sing?
Oh, we should.
We should.
At the very end, though.
Okay,
we got a little bit more.
Yeah, we do. More. You're right. I'm just excited.
I know you are.
I'm excited.
I know you are. Be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. Antoinette's up there right now. Valentine's Day stuff is dropping at the beginning of next week, so stay tuned for that. We'll have a whole bunch of amazing stuff, guys. Whole bunch of amazing stuff.
It's true.
Reflecting on this episode, it's been a fun one. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of good Disney stuff. And it's really weird. The AMC stuff is really weird, but it's also really fun to talk about because the stock market was like one of the main things in the news this week because of the odd trading cycle. So that was pretty fun. And of course, Game of Thrones. I hope they don't butcher fucking this shit like they did Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead. But, I mean, I'm still going to watch it, see what happens.
Yep.
And cheaper by the dozen. I love Zach Braff.
There you go. I, of course, loved all the geek stuff with DC and the Snyder Cut and, Tim Drake and all that kind of stuff. But I loved the top 5, too, because, like I said, it brought a lot of good memories back. I picked and joked about the Lifton, but it was fun. I loved all of them. They were great. And I had a blast in my time back then. And, it was good. It was fun.
Exactly.
It was fun to recount.
Exactly. And for y'all that don't know, I mean, it's the one and only's birthday. So,
That's right.
We got to end this thing with a happy birthday.
That's right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Oprah. Happy birthday.